On with your forecast here, because enjoy the break, friends. This is a nice calm between rounds of storms. Yesterday was a good reminder of, Mother Nature, she's in charge. We were thinking big hail, which we did. I mean, we checked that box big time, but we are going to be looking at another risk of not only big hail, but probably bigger than some of the storms we saw yesterday, and there is going to be another tornado risk and another localized flooding threat. Hike and bike forecast. We've got temperatures in the 80s this afternoon, not that 94 we had yesterday, but it's still very warm. It's still very humid, and today we get the missing ingredient that we didn't have yesterday. Yesterday we were missing that lift, that focal point for these storms, which is why they kind of just floundered around Burnett, Williamson, and Lampasas County. There was a couple storms out towards Mason, but the big issues were right here northwest of Austin. Today's risk is higher. These colors have more to do with the coverage of storms. So this means we're probably going to see more severe storms than what we had yesterday. It won't just be all clustered up in one spot, but everything is going to be possible as far as threats. And we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Let's talk timing first, because I am still worried that these storms are going to start earlier in the day compared to what we had yesterday too. Here's clouds for lunchtime, not expecting anything within the next 5 to 6 hours, let's say. But once we hit the early afternoon, daytime heating, cold front starting to approach us from the north, here comes the first of several storms likely. Isolated for the early afternoon, then the mid-afternoon, we're starting to see these storms grow in coverage and intensity. Look at this evening, we're still tracking storms and showers, and a lot of the times too with an event like this, these storms are going to interfere with each other. One might cut off the inflow to another, meaning it's going to weaken, but the other gets stronger next to it. So once these storms start and get going, it's just going to kind of be what we call nowcasting, watching these storms as they go. But I'm looking at the overall trends with the computers, and that's widespread storms from about 1 p.m. to midnight. Everything's on the table as far as threats go. Large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes. The black lines on top of the colors mean a significant hail, and we consider significant egg size or bigger, 2 inches in diameter or bigger. But there is a higher probability hail and winds come out of these storms than tornadoes. Bottom line, as we saw, all it takes is one storm. That was one supercell that produced all those problems with the tornado warnings yesterday, and at least one confirmed tornado, if not two. Rainfall is also going to be something to watch. We picked up 4 to 5 inches out there in Burnett County. That's a lot of rain. Had some flash flood warnings go up. Guess where all that rain is going? First in the ground, then right into the Highland Lakes watershed. That is exactly where we needed that heavy rain. We just now have to be careful we're not adding another 4 to 5 inches on top of that. A lot of our high resolution computer models take us between about ½ an inch and 2 inches, which I agree with, but there's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be a few spots of more than that, and that's where that flooding risk comes in. Hey, good news is you won't hear much from us this weekend. 80s, mixed sun and clouds, outside of a spot shower early Saturday. I think we're going to stay dry. So I'm asking for your attention today. Make sure you've got the KXAN weather app on. Make sure you're tuning into KXAN midday. We're now on at 11 a.m. and noontime. Dry skies this weekend. Then next week, upper level low sets up over the desert southwest and almost gets stuck. So that means there's more rain on the way. If you're new to Central Texas, this is how it works, right? We go from nothing to too much of a good thing. Likely to see severe weather concerns here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in addition to some flooding concerns. And it all kind of hinges that flooding risk on what happens today. Highs will stay in those low to mid 80s. So we'll continue to provide those updates for you, making sure everybody here in Central Texas is safe. In the meantime, we've got Erica watching the roads.
And the roads are pretty good for the most